So we'll start by taking out these caliper pins. See, one at the top, one at the bottom, and they're both 17 millimeter. Start with a little PB blaster. All products I use will be in the description. I'm also going to hit the caliper bracket bolts. You have to take off the caliper bracket to get the rotor off, which we will be replacing the rotors as well. Loosening the caliper pins. I'll get me a caliper hanger here in a second. Put this one in the back because it's the one on the bottom. So I pull this off. We just hung it to get it out of the way. Next thing we'll do is we'll pull these brakes out. Just get yourself a screwdriver and just pop them out. One on the back side. Take those out. We'll go ahead and take off this caliper bracket. The caliper bracket. There's two bolts in the back here. One right here. And then one right here. Lefty loosey. Tighty tighty. Take these bolts off. There's just two of them. Now, as far as the rotor, what you'll do is I'll spray this anywhere there's a little hole. Try to get down in there to loosen it up. See if that got anywhere on it. I like to put a lug nut on here just so it doesn't fall off. You hit it a certain way, it could fall off. But if you want to take these in to have them returned, you don't want to damage them. So, well, I'm going to pop it on this inner ring only. Don't hit it right here if you want to reuse it. Pretty much already loose. What we'll do is go ahead and spray it down with a little. These come with the factory with a little bit of grease on them to keep them from corroding, and we're just going to spray a little brake cleaner. We're going to clean that layer off. Try not to breathe those fumes in. Show you this little grommet. This came off the old one. We're just going to push it into the new one. Keeps dust and stuff from getting in there. So I'm gonna put the new one on. I like to put it on all the way. So I'm just gonna spin these on all the way for when I'm putting the brakes on and the bracket and getting the caliper back online. I would just like to have two lug nuts on all the way. If I can, I might have to put three just to make sure that everything is seated right. As we have this caliper, and what I do is I take one of the old brakes, I take a C-clamp, and I'll take this off since I'm working with it for a second. So what I'm gonna do is take an old brake, put it on top of there, taking this C-clamp, I'm gonna have to loosen it just a little bit. This piston has to go back down or I won't be able to put the new brakes on. So I set an old brake on top of it. I hold this in place and we're just gonna tighten this up. We're gonna see that piston just go back into place where it needs to be, all the way back down. If you don't have it back, you can't get the new, you can't get it over the new rotor and the new brakes, because the new brakes have thicker pads. It's a thicker brand new pad. So now take that old brake pad off, inspect that boot around the piston, and it's fine. So for now, I'm going to hang it, but I'm going to go ahead and mount the bracket first. Then I'm going to put my brake pads on. Okay. So what I like to do, the ones that are still in here, I try to leave them in here so I can use that as a diagram for my new clips. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So I go back in here. Got to put your bracket on first, because that's what's going to hold. That's the housing for the brake pads. And I'll give those a little snug tight. I'll tighten everything down here. And actually, you know what? You don't want to play around with that. I've had one of those come off. It's best to do yourself a favor. Don't accidentally push down on this, because then it's going to start scraping. Keep your hand off that and try not to push on it as you're doing the work. Comes with new hardware. So if I have it in place, here's the new brakes too. If I have one in place, gotta take this one out. So I took this one out. So I look at the orientation and I know that this little clip's hanging out. So reach down in here and I find one with the same orientation. So this one looks just like this one. All right. So I'm gonna put this new one in where that one was. So the clip fits down in here. It's sitting in there, but it sits down in these little pockets. There's one right here. Okay. And you gotta replace them because you want your brakes to be in there tight. So I'll take this one out and then I'll mount that one. Sometimes it's good to grab a little screwdriver. You know, cut yourself all up. So this one fit in there like that. These little lips tend to go outward, right? That would be that. So we'll go in here. Clip it on like so. See how it kind of just pops in place.
If you like these type of videos, please hit the like button and subscribe for us. Thank you.
I want you to see how easy it is to put these in. It, you know, I say easy. It can be like a little bit of a hassle. Not bad, right? That's how they fit in there. The back one is the same way. Sorry you can't see it, but once you get them in place, that's what the new clamps are for. It really kind of grips them in there. Before we apply this caliper, is we're going to clean off these pins. They slide as you push the brake. So you want these clean and smooth, and you want them greased. Just clean them off all the way. Check them out, make sure they're they're smooth. They're smooth, no dings on them. All right, clean off the ends. Put a little bit of this grease. It always comes with a little package of grease. But you should also always grease these pins. Don't put any on the end because it's not compressible. And if you do, your brakes will start shifting. When they compress, they'll compress unequal, and you'll start getting uneven wear on your brakes. So you want to keep the end of it clean. Go ahead and apply a little bit of grease to the pin. All right, like so. I just don't put any on the end, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and apply this caliper. Take this caliper off its hanger. You're gonna mount the caliper over the brake, like so. You'll push these little boots in. Push the boots in so you don't scuff them up. All right, and kind of hold it in place. Grab your pin. Get that first pin in place. All right, go put it in. I'm doing the snug tight right now. Might want to find out. I'll try to find the torque for these. I'm getting this information from this Haynes repair manual, 2007 to 2019 and 2008 to 2019 for the Tundra and Sequoia. And here are the details from the book. Right now they're getting the snug tight until I can find them. That little plate is going to be tightened up when we start bleeding the brakes, pushing the brake pedal. That piston will start coming out and it'll tighten up that gap around that rotor. So we just took care of rotor and brake replacement on the back of a 2013 Tundra. We will move on to the front brakes and change the rotor and the front brakes. Those are a little different from the back brakes, and I'll show you how that works out. This video emphasizes changing brakes and rotors. I do have a video on bleeding the brakes. So rest assured it's on the channel. Go ahead and get on the channel and you'll see that video. I just give it a little. But I will definitely get a torque wrench out here and torque all these down to spec. I got to figure out what that is. So if you have aluminum wheels, it's 97 foot-pounds. And if you have steel wheels, it's 154 foot-pounds. Anything that doesn't have a unit, it says unless it's foot-pound unless otherwise indicated. All right. Guys, if you liked the video, like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the front brakes. We have a video for that too.